Hello,
Hello,
I'm Wayne Anthony
and I'm Jude Savage.
and welcome to our channel,
Quest.
The Search for Truth.
And in tonight's episode, well, it's sort of part one of several, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Really, on the tarot or tarot.
Tarot.
So we've already done our tarot for beginners,
We
haven't
have,
we?
yeah.
And we've also done several episodes on the minor arcana.
Yes, we have.
And we are really now into the major arcana.
Yes.
Okay, so we've
The
already got
chunky
some,
bits.
yes, the exciting cards. We've already got some videos out there on the major arcana.
Have a look.
Yeah, please do feel
Go on,
free
have a look.
to have a look. But we're going to go right to the beginning in this episode.
Interesting. One of the hinge cards, actually, aren't we?
Hinge card, yeah. Hopefully you're going to explain that.
Well, nobody ever seems to know what hinge cards are. Maybe it's just unique to my family, I don't know. And your family have the hinge cards as well, don't they?
Yeah, but it was more that you taught me more about them. So let's explain what we're going to do. We're going to start, it's not even a number, is he?
No, he has no number. Zero.
The very first card of the tarot deck, which is the Fool. Fool.
La Foule.
La Fool.
Yeah.
And he is 0. So explain what you mean by hinge card.
So hinge cards are cards that hang between the past, the present, and the future. So basically, as things have been, things are, and things are yet to be. So are the things that are yet to be the same as what is or what has been? The choice is always yours with a hinge card. And the Fool card is the major hinge card. You know, it is one of the things that hangs between the past, the present, and the future. But it's a card that says you can change things. You have a choice in your future. The future isn't set per se.
No, now that's an interesting point, isn't it? Because some people, that's a question we get asked quite a lot. To say, is my future fixed?
Well,
certain things, I think we're meant to be in certain places at certain times with certain people.
Absolutely. Children are born when they're meant to be born, and people do certain things when they're meant to do those things, and things happen when they're meant to happen. So we always say that the vast majority of the future is in a state of flux. Yeah. It's moving, it's changing, it's not fixed. But certain amounts of the future, I don't know how much, would we put that in percentages? 20%?
Yeah, probably.
25%?
Yeah.
15%? Are in a state of fix. Those points of fix are meant to happen. You cannot change those points. So it's like saying you're going down the M1 and your destination is, I don't know, from wherever to London on the M1, and you've got to get to London. London's your destination. But as you drive along the M1, you can come off at Milton Keynes and go around Milton Keynes and go back and go to Peterborough and go to different places. But you've inevitably got to come back onto the M1 to continue that journey. Yeah. And you will. So it's kind of like this, I don't know, Doctor Who style wibbly wobbly effect where time is not linear. It doesn't run in a straight way. So you can change things, but inevitably you've got to go along the M1 to get to your final destination. Yeah. That probably sounded as clear as mud, but bear with us.
I like to sometimes say it's a bit like the film Sliding Doors.
Yes, absolutely.
Where, I don't know if you've seen it, but where, would she always have ended up in that place, and that's your fixed point, but she chose, or circumstances where you get up later, so you take the different train, or
George Michael, turn another corner. If I turned another corner, would have been a different scenario. Would I ever have met that person? So the Fool card is the beginning, the middle, or the end, and it always, when it arrives in your tarot spread, should you even pick it or somebody else pick it, it's going to always ask the question: beginnings, middles, or end? Yeah. Are you at the beginning of something, in the middle of something, or ending something?
Yeah, and that's kind of like the number 0, isn't it? Because people argue that 0 could actually appear wherever. We just, I think I don't know, we've always placed 0 before the rest of the numbers, but that's not necessarily the case, because it is sort of, it's no thing, it's nothing, no one thing, isn't it?
It's a 0, so it can appear anywhere, technically, can't it?
Yes, exactly, So if you pick the Fool card, or if you have a Fool card in your reading, I mean, we've talked about beginnings, middles and endings of something, and quite often the ending of something is the beginning of something else.
Beautiful things, usually.
Usually, yeah.
I would like to think.
But he's often, not always, but he's often about newness as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So new beginnings, new things that you, but having that hinge card, that phrase in mind of connection between the past and what's happening right now and what's about to happen.
So simplifying things.
Yeah.
The Fool arrives in your tarot spread, or you're asking a question and the Fool arrives. What do we see it as in its basic form? Because that's what it is. We need to take the BS out of it and say, well, what does it really mean? Yeah. What would you think it would mean? I think you think kind of think what I think about it. But.
Yeah, I mean, we can also go down the track of like the word "the fool" itself. Are we being foolish about something? Because quite often people are picking, they go, "Does that mean I'm a fool?" And I think you have to kind of, well, this is where the other cards that they've picked is really important. Or you always say the synergistic values of the other cards.
But this is really medieval tack, and in medieval times, the Fool had there was two different types of fools. There was the all-governing fool, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That could say whatever he wanted to the king, regardless what it was, and he couldn't be punished for that. And then there was the other fool that had to be very careful about, in the king's court or the queen's court, that had to be very, very careful about what they said. So, it's putting you in two places. Are you going to be very serious about this, or you're not going to be serious about this? Yeah. So should this card appear for you, it means it's asking you to check whether you're at the beginning, the middle, or the end of something. Yes. Are you being foolish about what you really, really want from this? And this goes back to something we had a conversation earlier today, didn't we? About, and even if it's new, if it's in the middle or at the end of something, are you putting your standards onto something that the other person or the other situation doesn't quite understand? Yeah. So be careful about that, because if you're holding something to a high expectation because of your values, you might get disappointed. Yeah. Yeah, expectations are often disappointments in disguise. If they're from your own point of view. Yeah. So, the Fool. Simply, or simplicity, it represents beginnings, middles and endings. New people, new faces, new places, new situations. But it requires you to make those situations for yourself. Yeah, life requires you to take part. It's called look lines. So look lines are very much about, I won't bore you with the details, but it is very much about creating new lines of opportunity, really. So you go and join something, whether it's a book club, whether it's acting, whether it's clay modelling, whether it's pottery in that. Anything really. Look at, there are whole lists, aren't there, about things you could. And therefore, when you do join these different groups, no matter how banal or, don't be afraid of people laughing at you because you join a knitting club or a Sudoku club. Just go and meet people, because it's about getting out there. And a lot of people will sit there and go, oh, I've not got many friends and I don't see many people and I feel very lonely. Yeah, you do, because unless you go out and meet people, they're not going to come to you. They're not going to come and knock on your door and say, hey, you know what, do you want to go to this club or that club or the Legionnaires club? Or, and you've got to make it happen for yourself. And I know it sounds like such a simple thing to do. And I know it's very, very hard when especially if you live by yourself, even if you don't live by yourself, to go out and actually meet people. Well, that's what you've got to do. You create look lines, and the look lines bring in other people. You go to these places. Start, isn't it? Don't be afraid, because you know what? Other people in those clubs and those little places that you go to, they started off somewhere. They may have friends, but most people I personally find with people, I hate people. I can't stand them. I love people, but I can't stand them. But when you go to places like that, the human nature, and I do believe in good human nature, decent people, and there are decent people out there. They'll introduce themselves to you, or they'll try and make you feel comfortable, or they'll try and make you feel at home. There are good people out there, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to go out and meet these people. That's the look line. And when you meet these people, they'll introduce you to other people. They'll introduce you to their son's wedding, their daughter's birthday party, the barbecue, and that's when you knock-on effect, isn't it? Yeah, it's hard to make friends. It is. A lot of people find it hard to make friends, but the Fool card says new people, new faces, new places, new situations, and you can do that very effectively by just getting involved in something. Yes. You know what? We've all walked into somewhere. I met you at university, didn't I? And I remember walking into university and not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
And I saw her stupid face about the third day. And we were outside, actually.
Yeah.
And we became friends, didn't
Yeah.
we? Through stress and trauma. But we won't go into, if you want to know what happened, let us know. And we'll let you know. But then we became friends forever, didn't we? And
exactly.
it was a difficult time. But, I'd never known Jude before that time. And that was 20 years ago.
Oh, God, yeah, it is 20 years ago. Yeah.
2003.
21 years ago.
21 years ago. And, you meet people and through different, and we spoke and we got on and we got on,
That's how it starts. With one hello.
Yeah, with just a smile.
Yeah.
With just a hello. Well, it wasn't even a smile, was it?
I can't remember.
No, it was just
a
we came outside.
Random conversation.
A very, very intense lecture by some loony fruit. And then we just got, it was just me and you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
We just got speaking, and then, the
That's
rest is history.
Starts.
Yeah. And I think what did I do in a previous life that was so bad that I deserved this?
No, can't get rid of it.
Can't get, it's limpet Jude.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I think I'm the limpet actually. But anyway.
2 lost limpets.
Stuck together for all eternity.
Yeah, so the Fool really is about, in lots of depictions on the pack, it's not so much in this one, but on a lot of depictions in the pack, he's sort of pictured at the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And it's not quite sure whether he's going to, I don't think it is on this one, he's just sort of
It's on a precipice,
I can't tell on this one.
The dog biting is...
Yeah. And it's kind of like, are you going to make that leap? Really. Now, for some people, we talk a lot about star signs, don't we?
We did.
And some people, it's a lot of fun talking about star signs.
Well, we rip the star signs.
We do,
We like the bad news zodiac.
Yes.
We don't like the good news
Done lots
zodiac.
of videos on the bad news zodiac.
Leo, you're wonderful, you're marvellous, you're leaders, you've got great hair. We don't do that. We like, you smell.
Yeah, the nitty gritty of it.
Your
The bad
toes
points.
are like crooked, like, oh.
So some...
No one likes you in reality. But they are, like... Anyway.
So a lot. If to give a star sign example, somebody like myself, an Aries, might leap first and then ask questions later. So if this card appears to somebody, it's about reading. It's always about reading their energy anyway. So in their situation, you might be saying, "Are you leaping too much? Are you taking too many?" Bad decisions and just going for it. And then others, for example, like, I don't know, a Virgo who likes to plan everything, that card might appear to them, and you might be in their situation going, you're not taking enough chances, you're weighing up all the opportunities.
Too cautious.
And you're far too cautious, and you talk yourself out of that.
You might be Scorpio.
Yes.
In which case, stop.
Just no.
Just no. No.
Says
Scorpio,
the Scorpio.
No. Says, who's Scorpio? I don't know what you mean.
So it's really about, and it always is about reading energy, but the Fool really is about what opportunities are you taking to bring this newness into your life.
And that's one of the big things you just mentioned is energy. When you are reading tarot cards, it's difficult to, if you pulled your own cards, but if you're reading somebody else's card, you would always be reading the card. Yes, you would, but you would also be reading the energy.
Their energy.
What energy are you feeling? So the card might be saying one thing, and it's giving its basic meaning, but what you're feeling from that person, the energy that you're feeling from that person might be like, this is not good energy. I don't feel this is right. So let me give you for instance. So you got the Fool card. So you're saying to this person, well, it's new beginnings. It's a chance to start again, but you're not really getting that from them.
Yes.
And that's usually because they're stuck in the past, or they're stuck in a previous relationship, or they've got unresolved issues. They've got unresolved, I've got unresolved, the cat's got unresolved, and you've got more unresolved issues than anybody I know.
And you can shake a stick at.
Then you can get more issues than I've got tissues for. Andrex ain't got a thing on this girl, trust me. But so you've got to look at the situation and say, I'm not getting the right energy. No, you don't have that many issues actually.
But anyway.
Moving on quickly. The card is saying, read the energy. You always read the energy of the person. You can't not take that out of the equation.
Always, yeah.
But regardless, it's still saying that that person may feel rubbish about their life, might not want to be where they are in their lives. They've lost their drive, they've lost their self-philosophy, but you've still got to push the fact that newness is needed, freshness is needed. Are you at the beginning of this, the middle of this, or the end of this? So are you currently in a new depression, at the middle of the depression, or the end of the depression? And if that's the end of the depression, all the better, because you can move on to new things. It's the same with your house. You're just moving to a new property. You're existing, you're in the middle of it, or at the end of it, you're going to move on. Relationships, same thing.
Yeah.
Everything, work, same thing.
Yeah.
Where are you with your mental health? Where are you with your physical health? Where it's a card that it really expands across the spectrum of who we are, what we are, where we are, the materialistic values of who we are as well. So it's a really important, it's a hinge card. Don't forget it's a hinge card. That's really, really important.
Yeah, so let us know your thoughts on the Fool. Feel free to disagree with us. If you want to ask us any questions about it, our email address is quest.thesearchfortruth@gmail.com. You can leave us comments below, or we've got the Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got all the various different things.
Crap, yeah.
And we've been advising people as well, from our perspective, to, if you are trying to learn the tarot, to buy your tarot deck, and to be prepared to destroy it. And what we mean by that is to write some basic meanings as you learn. So take some of the phrases that we've said for each, should you so want, and write some basic meanings on the top and the bottom of the cards, and that's how you will learn.
We've said it before, I'm going to say it again. These are pieces of paper.
Yes. Yeah.
You can, wrap the tools. So you can wrap your wrench, you can wrap your screwdriver, in scented cloth and put it in a scented drawer, and pray to,
the god of screwdrivers.
The god of whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, the tools that as psychics and mediums and mystics we take out of the bag. That's the bag of we need this tool to do this job. So that's what happens. A lot of people will say all the time, you've got to buy. Somebody's got to buy you the cards.
Well, you've been waiting a long time.
Stop already.
Buy your own pack.
Yeah, and trash it by writing the meanings on the bottom and the top and whatever you feel, when you pick that card. Because that's how you're going to learn. Yeah. That's how. If I was coming into this today, I came into this as a child, as did you. I don't know if I'd even bother with the cards, to be honest with you. They're so complicated. But they're fascinating.
You can get lost in them, can't you? Really?
Yeah.
But don't let that put you off.
Go for the pack that you're drawn to. Yes. If you're drawn to the medieval pack, which this is, if you're drawn to a modern pack or a Victorian pack or a Gothic pack, or there's so many different packs.
Hundreds to choose from.
The farmer's pack or the cat pack or whatever the dog pack. There's so many. Go for that. If it speaks to you, it speaks to you. Again, we don't read people. We don't read cards. We read energy. The cards have a basic meaning, but at the end of the day, it's all about your energy.
Yes. And hopefully you'll join us again for our next episode.
Indeed. Bye for now.